Thank you so much. Thank you. The Commercial Multifamily Mastermind, we do have a Facebook page, and please come and join the Facebook page. The only thing I ask is just don't solicit here on the Facebook page, but feel free to post, ask questions, and stuff like that. There are, let me see, hold on, man, where's my questions? There are two questions to join, and one is a question that's about your ability of underwriting, because underwriting to me is very important. And the second is about an email. Oh, the third is simply we encourage you to ask questions. However, do not post any investments or solicit anything on the page. That's it for that one, right? And then we have the GOB network. Please come over and join the page. A lot of education here, and the first page, a lot of education. And to join, all you got to do, come right over, answer a couple of questions. All right, right here. What experience, if any, do you have in real estate investing? Your email. Those are the only two, right? And that's it. And then here, if you want to connect with me on Facebook, please do. Please connect with me on Facebook. I'll be more than happy to connect with you and chat with you and everything and help you in any way that I can. So connect with me. But when you do, just put a little message in there stating where we met, okay? Because sometimes I'm not too quick on hitting the check mark. Okay. Now, if you like what you see today, then I'm going to tell you, if you like what you see today, even if you don't like what you see today, but you want to join the GOB network, come on over here to the gobnetwork.com right here, okay, and click on become a member or a sponsor. You could become either one, right? And if you click on becoming a member, then it just asks you for your name, your email address, right? They don't want your business email address. See, you notice that says personal? Make sure you put that in there, and your phone. Then here, name of the person the name, email of a person who referred you. So whoever referred you to the GOB, this is it right here. Put it in. That's it. Now don't put your email, all right? Put the email of the person that referred you. And here we have our YouTube page. This is where all our videos are posted. So if you after today, this particular video will be posted right here, and you can come back and watch it at any given time. All right, and so forth. So thank you very much. Thank you very much for that. And hey, that's what it's about here. Now, so I always say this, and I'm gonna continue saying this. Listen, inventory is abundant out there. There's so much inventory out there. We're trying to underwrite all that we can. For all you brokers and all of you that own property and you're looking or thinking or considering selling your property, commercial multifamily, I'm asking you to bring it here to the GOB. I mean, right here to the Commercial Multifamily Mastermind. That's what I'm asking you to do. We have right now 21 people in here. And I'm telling you right now, we all are looking for investment opportunities. So if you're looking at selling, considering selling, brokers, owners, brokers, I know you get deals all the time. And if you're coming here, then bring the deals here too. All right. Give us that opportunity to take it down. We have the network, we have the opportunity, we have what it takes. Okay. All right. So who needs who has a question or need help with anything before we get into our guest speaker? Anyone has a question?
I
Anyone
just
needs
po
help?
Daryl, I
Yeah.
just posted the help I need, the chat on a RV park in Pennsylvania. So if
Oh,
you take a
okay.
look at that, you'll see that. Also, Daryl, I'd like to ask you a question. I spoke to one of my friends that I do business with all the time, and I mentioned a property in Houston, Texas. And she says the one place you don't want to be right now is in Houston, Texas. But she didn't tell me why. But you happen to know why?
Wow. I don't know why. I would like to hear why.
I'm trying to get that information from her. It has to do some with taxes and some other things, but she doesn't want to share that information with me right now.
Um, no, I have to tell you, I really don't know why. Um, and now if she would have said there may be certain areas in Houston you don't want to be into, I can understand that. But the cross Houston off the market totally, that part I don't quite understand. Matter of fact, I was underwriting a property yesterday in Houston, Texas, and believe it or not, the percentage came down from 2022 to 2023. It went from a 2.1, no, it went from a 2.3 to a 2.1. Some may think that's not much, but that is when you start looking at how much you have to pay in taxes. So I saw a decline, and that wasn't the first time that I saw a decline in some properties in Houston, Texas.
Well,
So
that's
I really can't
that,
say.
the reason I had to speak to her because I underwrote two properties in Dallas, in Houston, and I was asking her opinion on the properties, and that's when she said stay away from Houston.
Hmm. Well, that's a pretty good one. I would like to know more about that.
Okay.
I would like to know more about that one.
If anyone
Stay
knows
away from
anything,
Houston.
please let us know.
Yeah. Go ahead, David.
I was gonna say it sounds a little suspicious she's telling you that, but not telling you why uh, the market's bad. But yeah, I think it's an opinion. I live in Texas. I don't personally invest in Houston. It's not a market I really want to invest in, but you can make money in investing in any market at any time. It's all about finding the right deal and buying the right deal at the right price.
You got that
So
right.
I wouldn't cross it off your list. If you find a good deal there, Houston is one of the biggest cities in the country. I think it's top four, and it's not going anywhere. So
Yeah.
Thanks.
And I don't see the population declining in Houston. So that's
I'll try to get some more
yeah.
information from her.
Okay,
That's
great,
all I
great.
can do.
Yeah, I would like to know more about that one. Why would somebody say
insurance
that?
is tough. Insurance is very expensive there. But again,
Yeah,
we bake that into the numbers when we underwrite the deal. So
Insurance is more expensive in Miami.
it's way more expensive in Miami than Houston. But
Yes.
it's more expensive in Houston than I'd say most other markets besides Florida.
yeah.
Yep.
So I don't
Okay,
know.
thanks, guys.
Pretty good. Oh, well, that was a good one. So
Yeah, Daryl.
so hold on a minute, because we got
Okay.
to get started. I'll come back now. So today, and very seldom, everyone, very seldom I have guest speakers, but we're going to start focusing more towards guest speakers that specialize in underwriting. Okay, that's what those are the guests I will be bringing. They know underwriting, they specialize in underwriting. And today, our first guest speaker that's going to be discussing underwriting, we have David Toupin and Brandon Packen. Brandon, did I say your last name correct?
Pack.
Just Pack.
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 Oh, okay, Brandon Pack. Now they are from Real Estate Lab. I met Brandon and David. I guess it's probably been about a month now. It's been
Early December. Yes, sir.
yeah, it's been about a month now, and their platform caught my attention. And what I liked about their platform, you're able to take the rent roll and the T12 and upload it to their platform and everything. And it puts it into a beautiful spreadsheet. Although that's not the reason why I asked them to come. But another reason why I reached out to them during that time was because, as many of you know, I wanted my own model. I wanted my model, a model where the way I would like for it to be. So when I reached out to them, Brandon responded, and then Brandon said, "Let me introduce you to David," and we got together, and a few of you have seen the model. Now, one model is up at Real Estate Lab. The other model it's a dynamic model. So the dynamic model cannot be uploaded. And however, these two guys have so much experience in building underwriting tools, and they had several on their platform. And so I asked them if they would be a guest to discuss the importance of underwriting. Why? Why we need to underwrite. What is it that we need to be looking at when we underwrite? Right. So today, Brandon and David is going to discuss. I'm going to ask questions, and we're going to get some help with our underwriting, because underwriting to me is very, very, very important. Okay, if you don't know how to underwrite, you may know how to capital raise, but if you don't know how to underwrite, ain't nobody giving you no money. So you need to know, you need to really know how to underwrite. So
Writing sucks. David,
What's up, brother?
anyway,
underwriting sucks.
Did you see my video?
Yeah.
You saw that.
That's what
So
he said.
I have an advertisement that rolls on Facebook, and I start off by saying underwriting sucks. Like nobody wants to do it, but we all need to do it. It's so important.
Exactly.
That's probably
And I'm gonna tell you, I love underwriting. That's like a passion of mine. I love underwriting. So let's go ahead and let's get started with this. David, go ahead and introduce yourself. Give everybody a little background, about yourself and what you do, and then let's start jumping into some discussing underwriting, why it's so important.
Absolutely, man. Thanks for having me. I like your whole presentation you got here. Good group. So I don't know if we ever talked about it because we talked so much about underwriting, Daryl, but I've actually been investing since I was in college. I bought my first deal. I was 20 years old. I syndicated a 12-unit apartment building, and I will attribute 100% of me accomplishing that to underwriting and understanding the numbers and putting a lot of time and practice into underwriting. So I think it's been kind of a little bit of my superpower. It's helped me raise capital from investors. It's helped me talk to banks. It's helped me feel confident enough to be able to do and buy deals. So in the last 7 years as the primary GP, I've bought 1,400 apartments. I own a portfolio of commercial and self-storage properties as well. We don't do a ton of syndication. I mostly joint venture deals nowadays, and we'll sometimes buy properties on my own. And so, our shop is based out of Austin, Texas. We primarily own in Austin and Texas, and then the rest of my portfolio is in Michigan, where I'm from, back in Detroit. So I love underwriting through and through. I still underwrite all my own deals. I enjoy doing it. I think it's the most important piece of the equation, because without underwriting the deal, you don't know what price to pay for the property, and you won't be able to sell it to investors, and you won't be able to talk to the banks about it, which are, all the most important things to be able to put these deals together. So it all kind of starts with underwriting, and it starts with the numbers. It's in my opinion, it's the most important piece of the puzzle. Now, you don't need to be an expert in it. You don't need to be the best at it. Maybe you don't like spreadsheets and you don't love numbers. You at least need to be dangerous enough to talk about it, and you need to understand how it works. Maybe you have somebody on your team that's the underwriter, but even if that's the case, it's so important for you to understand the numbers and to be able to look at a model and to be able to know, is this a good deal? Is this a bad deal? And that all starts with underwriting the numbers. So that's a little bit of my story. 3 years ago, I set off, because I love underwriting so much, and I built this spreadsheet that I had sold thousands of copies to other investors around the country. I started this software company called Real Estate Lab, which, if I get some time, I'll show you guys today here. And that's what Daryl was talking about. And we built a software platform, a cloud-based platform where you can, have your own login. Your whole team can have access to it as well if you have multiple employees or staff, partners. And you can manage your whole pipeline of deals. You can underwrite deals. Like Daryl said, you could upload property financials. Our software will read those financials, import the data into your model. We provide market data. In about a week, we're actually, or 2 weeks, we're launching a feature where you can actually get all of your rent comparables right in our software, which is going to be great. So, so we're building this platform, Real Estate Lab, that's accelerating the underwriting process, making it easier, and kind of creating that hub for you and your business. So, Daryl, I could
That's
go in a
great.
couple of directions. That's kind of intro. I've got a presentation I could do.
Good.
Don't have to do it. I've got the software I could show. What do
Good.
you think is the best direction?
So I just want to ask a couple of questions before
Yeah.
you get into the software. Before you get into, let me ask you a couple of questions. When you're doing your underwriting, because you have new people here, you have seasoned people here. You know, you got some people that they don't know nothing about underwriting, nothing about underwriting. What is it that they need? Tell everybody what they need before they start anything. What is it?
You need an underwriting model. You need a tool. That's
They
the
need a
first
tool.
thing you need is you need a good tool, you need a good model or software like our platform. And that could be Excel. I mean, if you're looking at a small deal, you might be able to get away with doing some back of the napkin math. But if you're looking at 8, 10, 20, 40, 60 units, really any size, I think it's important to have a model and run those numbers through it because it will give you a full and accurate picture and it will give you the confidence to pull the trigger on that deal.
Yeah. And what are some of the documents that you should request and to do your underwriting from a broker or from an owner, something like that?
It's a great question. The first couple things you're going to need, you're going to request a rent roll, which is going to basically tell you all of the units at the property. What are the square footage of the units? Who's the tenant? Is it occupied or vacant? What's their rent? Their security deposit? And it's basically going to help you find the unit mix. And the unit mix is how many 1-bedrooms are there? How many 2-bedrooms are there? How many 3-bedrooms? What are they currently renting for? What's the square footage? And you're going to utilize that to build out your projected unit mix, what we call it. And what that is what are our rents going to be after we buy the property? We're going to increase the rents, or we're going to renovate the units. And that's going to help us establish our go forward revenue numbers. Guys, we're buying businesses when we buy apartment buildings. You need to know what your revenue projections are going to be. And we only can do that through the rent roll. So that's the first document. Second document is called a T12 or a profit and loss or an income statement. When I say T12, it's a trailing 12, so trailing 12 months. So that's an income statement that's going to say, hey, this is our revenue over the last 12 months in a month-by-month format. This is our expenses, and you can see what they paid for insurance, property taxes, maintenance, payroll, all this kind of stuff. So rent roll, T12 are the two most important things. And from there, we can underwrite a deal.
Okay. Now, do you ask for OM?
Sometimes if it's on the market, yes. I don't typically look at too many on-market deals, so I'm kind of going off market, looking for just directly the T12 and the rent roll.
Got you. Wow. Now that was unexpected.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I'll
Okay.
say this as well. The rent roll is the most important.
Okay.
If your seller will not give you a T12, you can underwrite a deal with the rent roll because we know enough about market assumptions on expenses. You can look up the property taxes. We can estimate the insurance costs. But what you can't do is you can't underwrite a deal without knowing what the unit mix is. You need to know how many of each type of unit, what the size of the units are, so that you can project your revenue. That's the biggest
So
thing. So
I want to stick to that rent roll for a minute because I think that rent roll is very important. So when you're looking at that rent roll, you have your vacants, and you're going to have some that may say NTV, right? Notice to vacate. Okay. So when you're looking at your rent roll, you have, let's say you have 5 vacants, then you have five people that has notice to vacate. How do you treat that NTV? How do you treat those NTVs?
I think it depends how many units are in the property. So if you have 5 and 5 and it's a 100-unit property, to me, that's pretty typical. I'm gonna be assuming there's 5% vacancy right now, 5% is coming up, and they probably have a couple units that are pre-leased, right? So it's gonna even out a little bit. Now, if you had a 100-unit property and you had 10 vacants and 30 notice to vacates, I might look at that and say something's wrong. Why are there so many people leaving? So I think it's the story behind it that matters a little bit, and whether it's within market standards. But other than that, I actually don't look at I won't look at that statistic too much. If it's within just, I would say, regular turnover.
Okay, sounds good. Sounds good. So there was another question I wanted to ask you about that the rent roll, because that rent roll tells a big story. A lot of times when I'm looking at the rent roll, I look at, I take into account of course, the vacancies, of course, but I look at the NTV and I try to project out, like if I see that the NTV, let's just say that the NTV is like this is already January. So let's just say that the NTV is February. Sometimes I will take those NTVs into account and count that as a vacancy. Do you ever do that? If you see that, like this is January 23rd, you have 3 or 4 NTVs in in February. Do you sometimes say, hey, I'm gonna count that as also as a vacancy?
I might, but I'm gonna be honest, I don't actually look at that too much.
Okay.
But because when I buy the property, whether or not, unless it's an indication of the market not being able to support a good occupancy, I won't look at it, because I'm going to come in, if I know the market well, I'm going to come in and I'm going to renovate the units and I'm going to lease them up regardless. So actually, sometimes I'd rather them have more notice to vacates, because that means
Right.
I'm going to have more vacants when I purchase it. It depends on the financing I'm going for. But yeah, it's not something I pay too much attention to unless there's an exorbitant amount of them.
Sounds good. Sounds
Yeah.
good. All right. So okay. So let's jump over to the T12, because that's also a very important thing to look at. When I'm looking at my T12, I like to look for trends. I want to see what is they call them outliers. I don't know how
Yeah.
that word got kicked in there, but outliers. What stands out that's gonna make me question it, right?
Yeah.
What are some of the outliers that you may look for on that T12?
Absolutely. So the first couple things you want to do is you want to kind of clean up a T12 if you're looking at it. So, and that's part of the reason why we created our software, to make it really easy to do that in there. You want to remove things that are not normal operating expenses. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to look and see, do they have any debt payments or mortgage interest above their NOI line? I'm going to remove that. I'm going to look for capital expenditures, maybe any one-time large, maybe like a roof replacement. That should not be on the P&L. That's CapEx. That's something that should not be included. So I'm looking for those type of things. Now, in terms of once we have it cleaned up, in terms of trends and outliers, the biggest things I'm looking for, the first thing my eyes almost always go to is the gross income line item. And I've one actually pulled up. I could share it on my screen if you
Yeah,
guys
go
want.
ahead. Go ahead. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, might as well. Let's see what we got here. You guys can see my screen here.
Yes.
Beautiful. So this is what a T12 looks like if you have not seen one before. It's basically gonna have 12 months of operations, and then it starts at the top with our income section. As you can see, we hit our gross income, and then we have all our expenses, a bunch of different categories. We have payroll, repairs and maintenance, and this is a very detailed one. Sometimes you'll get detailed, more simple. Property taxes, insurance. These are our total expenses, and then this is our net operating income. So the first thing my eyes always go to is the gross income. I always go down and look at this gross operating income. I want to see the total, but I really want to see the trend in this. So as you can see, and this one's kind of interesting. It starts 154, 160, 156, 170. And then the second 6 months, you don't see anything under one. Oh, you see 1 month under 160, but the rest of them are a little bit higher. So my second 6 months, I average 170, and my first 6 months, I average 163. So to me, that's a good sign. They're trending in an upward direction. So that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking at my gross income. Is it trending up, down, or is it stable? If it's trending down, that's not a good sign. If it's trending up, that might mean they're renovating the property, increasing rents, managing it properly. So that's one of the things I'm looking for. And then next, I'm going to look at my total expenses. I'm also going to see, does any one of these stand out? You know, maybe one of these I had 140,000 expenses. Okay, well then I'm going to go up and I'm going to look and see, well, what line item in here is really standing out, and maybe they replaced a parking lot, and so they've got a large line item for that or something like that. So I'm looking for that, and then I'm just going to look throughout. I'm going to graze through it, and I'm just going to see, are there any large totals that I should be aware of? Are there any large one-time expenses? Anything that looks a little weird? Maybe they have a really high security budget. Okay, well now I know that there's a crime problem at this property, right? So the T12 tells a story, kind of like what Daryl was saying. It tells a story. So I love looking at this and just kind of getting that feel. Tells a story right before I get into the underwriting.
Now, can you go to the top of that T12? Because I just want to ask you something about the. Okay, now, go down to your other income. Oh, there, no. Go down to your other income after miscellaneous. Is that miscellaneous? Where's your late fees?
Oops, that's not what I wanted. One sec. Let me do this. I'm gonna freeze. There we go. Late
Okay.
fees. So we've got late.
Yeah, right
fees.
there. So, how do you, when it comes to, because that's a pretty big number,
That is a big
72,000,
number.
right?
Yeah.
Do you do you let that number stay in, or will you take that number out, knowing that, I don't know what your business plan is, but how do you look at that late fee?
Yeah, in terms of projecting what our other income is going to be, sorry, so they have 300,000 in other income. 72,000, that's late fees. A lot of it is this rubs income. So we've got water rubs, and then we've got trash and pest control rubs as well. So a majority of it is this utility reimbursements, 150. The other 70 is late fees, and then the rest, about 75,000, is compiled the rest of the stuff. So depending on my business plan, if I'm gonna be turning this whole property over, renovating a lot of units, trying to get better tenants in, I'm probably gonna not estimate as much late charges. I might in the first year, because I'm still gonna be collecting these as I get people out. But after that, I'm probably gonna assume that I'm gonna have less late fees, but I'm gonna have higher rent income because I'm improving the property, improving the base of tenants, increasing rents. Hopefully, by doing that, I'm going to actually have less late charges. I'd rather have more rent income than late charges, because late charges, oftentimes that's going to lead to more evictions and more bad debt. So we don't want that.
All right.
That's a good question.
That's
Yeah,
an
can I
excellent
ask a question?
hold on, man, because I really want to hold all questions to the end.
Oh, okay.
But go ahead, Mr.
Type
John.
it in the chat though, just so we don't forget, if you don't mind.
Yeah, exactly. And yeah, type it in the chat. And what's your question?
Yeah. So why would you go to the gross income? Why would you just go up to the top, use your income, the total amount of income you can, and like Daryl said just a while ago, the vacancies, the loss to lease, and all those kinds of things like that. Why would you just jump over all of that and just go down to the gross income?
So the gross is what it's a good question. The gross is what they're actually collecting in income. So this is going to give me the truest trend of what's the monthly revenue. The top line item, market rent, this is not actually what they're collecting. This number is what we call a potential. That's why I say gross potential rent. So this number every month is filed in the accounting in the books based on the potential rent if the property was 100% occupied using whatever market rents they select at the property. And from there, they're going to take out loss to lease, vacancy, concessions, bad debt, and then we're going to get to our actual net rental collections. So You could start here and look at this one. That's a good number to look at. And then you could separate it out from these, but I like to just get like, this is just the first thing I always look at. So what's my actual income trend? What are they actually
Okay.
collecting? Yeah. It's a good
Thank you.
question.
Thank you. Mhm.
Now, David, sometimes what I do when it comes to my vacancies, I like to see a trend in my vacancies during that 12 months. So what I will do, I will I will say get the percentage, say from July 2018, and I will run it straight across all the way to the total, because I want to see what that trend is, see if there's a particular month that is going to be real big or whatever.
Higher
And then
vacancies.
and then what I do, I will take I would take loss to lease, bad debt, and concessions. I'll add those together just to get the percentage and the trend to see if there anything that stick out there. Um, how do you, is there any way that you handle your vacancy loss when you're underwriting, or now I'm going to call loss to lease bad debt and consider, I'm just going to use the term for now, economicals. Okay.
Yep,
When
economic vacancy.
Yeah, so when you're looking at loss to lease bad debt concessions, and then you look at your vacancy, it's what is there anything that you look for in particular that could tell you something, that could tell you a story about this property?
Yeah, and good question. I don't necessarily do much with these numbers in regards to my underwriting, because again, my business plan is always to go and stabilize the property, manage it well, and change the base of the tenants if we need to. But I will take it into account when pricing the property if I do have a lot of vacancy, for example. So I'm looking at, I pulled up another one because this one had better losses here. So if I see upward trend in vacancy, that is something I will look for to tell me a story. In this property, it looks like it's pretty even keel across the board. Our average is 21,000, and I see there's some above, some below that. It's not really changing too much. So I would say this is pretty typical vacancy. 252 out of 4.6 million is really not that much. 5.4%.
5.4, yeah, that's not that much there.
So that's actually pretty well run. So in that case, I'm not going to pay too much attention. That's just typical vacancy.
Cool.
Loss to lease. I'll look at this. It looks like it's probably about 8%. It's not too much different. Oops. It looks like it's about 8%. So that's again, that's pretty. It's a little bit higher than I'd probably like, but again, loss to lease based on the rent here, it could just mean that they have high market rents in their system. So I need to check if their market rents that they're using are actually accurate to know if the loss to lease is correct or not.
Right.
Again, that's something I'm going to use my own projections on a go forward basis as well.
Right. So I'm
Bad
looking at
debt, though,
your
for sure. Yeah.
right. So
Sorry.
I was looking at your, that's okay. I was looking at your top line, the residential rent, and I was looking, I said, wait a minute, I said 370, 384, 395, and then I see a drop in February to 360. Now, with something like that, have you questioned the broker to say, yo, why in February did you have a drop of from 416 to 360?
It's a great question. And actually, yeah, that's something I would have to ask them, because it is strange that it kind of seems to be trending up a little bit. Yeah, it's pretty stable, but then it goes from this to this. I don't know why that would be, because this top line should be pretty consistent based on their rent roll and what their expected rents are. So that is strange that this is going down and it's fluctuating so much. So yeah, I would just need to kind of ask them what that means and how they're actually recording their vacancy and loss to lease, and what is their accounting system, because every accounting some accounting departments do things a little different.
Exactly. I totally agree with you on that. I do.
Yeah.
So David, your the platform to upload the rent roll, upload the T12. Can you show everyone the platform of Real Estate Lab on
Sure.
doing that?
Sure, 100%. So I've got a demo account pulled up here, but this is Real Estate Lab. Again, I kind of, like I told you guys before, this is really your hub for making deals and then managing your deals after you buy them. And when I say managing, I don't mean property management, but more asset management. We got a dashboard here. We show you kind of today's interest rates. These are recent properties that we've been working on within the software. We've got a variety of different underwriting models. We've got a multifamily model, self-storage model. We've got exit model, construction cost tracking, a bunch of different tools that you can utilize. And we're always adding to this. We've got a development model coming soon. We've got a quick flip model coming soon. So we're always adding these different models. And the way it works is you've got a pipeline here, and these are all the deals that are in your pipeline. So we add a new property. Maybe I'm going to move it to the underwriting phase. Once I make an offer on it, I'm going to shift it over here. Okay, my offer got accepted. Now I'm in my due diligence. So this allows you to track all of the properties and projects that you're working on. And for active investors like us, Daryl, like a lot of you guys, we're looking at a lot of deals. We want to really keep track of where all these deals are at, because sometimes you're going to forget about a deal and you're looking at 10 different deals and you forget to make an offer or you forget to follow up on one. So this kind of helps you keep track and organize that. So I'm going to open up a property and I'm going to show you guys kind of how it works. When you add a property to the system, you open it up. One of the first things we're going to do is, as long as the address matches public records, we're going to pull public records on the property so you guys can see who's the current owner, what's the assessed value, square footage of the building, site information, is it in a flood zone, that type of stuff. The next tab we have here is we store your analysis, and I'll jump back to that in a second. But then you can also use this for all your document storage. So I will tell you guys this, we bought 22, 23 projects over the years. In the past I used Dropbox a lot. Now we utilize this. Staying organized is your best friend in this business, because every property we buy, there are hundreds of documents that you have to keep track of, from financials to insurance policies to loan documents to pretty much anything, you name it. So we've created kind of a nifty feature where anywhere you're at on the site, you can actually grab a document, drag and drop it, and you can put it right onto a property. So we'll go over here and just kind of show you how you can come in here and drag and drop a document, and you can pick a folder and I could throw it right in there. Now I've got it saved. So organization is important. You can take notes here. Say you're on the phone with a seller and I want to take some notes. I could leave a note. Seller will not accept seller financing. And if you're anything like me and you got a million things going on, you forget just about everything. So it's really important to take notes and kind of keep track of everything. So as you can see, this is the organizational aspect of things. So the next part, I'm going to clear this out. We're going to create a new analysis here. You guys can go and click create analysis, name it. So I'll just say this is my main analysis. Select our template. So from the templates I showed you guys, I'm going to pick our flagship multifamily analyzer. We've got a couple options. One is our auto populate operating expense option. So this, if checked, we will autofill your projected operating expenses based on data that we've collected. We collect that data from T12s that enter our system, which I'm going to show you guys next. So that's one. So the next thing is you're going to upload a T12 and a rent roll. We accept PDFs or Excel. As long as it's in somewhat of a format like this, our system will read it. If it's a really funky format, it might not hit it, but in general, if it's a format like this, we'll read it, and it's going to look something like this. The T12s I've just shown you, I'm going to upload one. It's going to pull the T12 data into this format. We've got our months here, our 12 months here. If you want to move stuff around, let's say I want to move my gas income up here, I can drag and drop items. Let's say an expense line item came in that I don't want in this analysis. I'm going to go ahead and ignore that. So you can kind of modify, review, make sure your NOI matches the T12 document, and we'll go ahead and confirm that. Another thing that's useful for is if you have a PDF file, you upload it. Now we actually give you the option to download it back into Excel. So we'll convert it into an Excel format that's easy to work with. Same thing with the rent roll. We're going to go ahead and grab a rent roll. I'm going to drag and drop it in here. our software will read the rent roll. We determined that there are these 1 bedrooms and these are 2 bedrooms based on the unit type, the floor plan. We've identified the effective rents, if it's renovated or not, the square footage of the units. I'll continue. And then so from uploading that, we've identified from that rent roll, there's 16 1 bedrooms, 4 2 bedrooms. We've got 1 vacant 2 bedroom. This is our average rents, our rent ranges. Here's our median rent. It's 95% occupied, 780 square foot on average, and 80% of the units are renovated. Now, this is a good rent roll with a lot of data. So as long as it has that data, we're going to be pulling this in and telling you guys some insights on what this looks like. Now, the cool thing is, normally when you have to manually go through a T12 and manually go through a rent roll, you're spending all this time taking that data and transferring it into your model. I'm going to create an analysis. And within just a couple seconds here, we're going to have a model that's ready to go. I'm going to open it up. It's in Google Sheets, so it's all cloud-based, which is really nice. You can open it up anywhere. And it's going to have all that data in there for us right off the bat so that we don't have to manually input it all. So, so that's powerful. It saves a lot of time, especially if you're looking at a lot of deals. So I'm going to go ahead and open this up. So our model is pretty simple to use. I know it looks like there's a lot of tabs, but I've made it pretty straightforward and easy to use. You pretty much only input in the blue cells, and you just work left to right. So you start here, so you don't have to bounce around from here to here to here to here. You just start at 1, then you go to 2, then you go to 3, then you go to 4. I make it super simple. So start at 1 is your unit mix. And as you can see, we uploaded our rent roll, and it automatically input our rent roll, our unit mix for us without us having to do that. So we've got our 2 bedrooms, our 1 bedrooms. It put in our current rents. All I have to do here is say, how many units do I want to renovate? And what are my rents going to be? So maybe I'm going to renovate half the units. I'll renovate 2 of the 4 2s, and I'll renovate 8 of the 16 1 bedrooms. Now I just have to put in my rents. My non-renovated 2 bedrooms, I'll rent for $1,400. My renovated 2s, I'll rent for $1,600. My non-renovated 1s, I'm going to rent for $1,000, and my renovated, I'm going to rent for $1,200. There you go. With our upcoming rent comp feature, we're actually going to help autofill these for you as well, your rents going forward. That's another step to automating the process. We have our inputs. I'm not going to go through every single cell, but you get your property management fee. We've got a section for you to set up your property taxes. It'll automatically calculate. If you're in Texas, we use the percent rate. We'll use the 85% assessment ratio, and if you're in Houston, maybe it's a 2.1% tax rate. So there you go. It's going to automatically calculate your taxes for you. We have a pro forma page. We have all our economic losses, your rent growth per year. We're looking at our income. We auto-filled your operating expenses here, year 1 going forward from that auto-populate feature. And our T12, we get a side-by-side T12 to our year 1 projections. I've always had this in my model because I think it's so cool to see what did they do in the last 12 months? What are we going to do in the next 12 months? And so I want to see where our income is. And this is dummy data that I'm throwing in here, so these numbers might not line up. But as you can see from the demonstration, our T12 numbers all automatically get input here. And then now I have a side-by-side I could look at to see, what was their advertising? Now, what's my year 1 going forward advertising budget? We've got a page for renovations. We have a page for your financing. We'll automatically input the asking price, purchase price from when you created the deal. You can enter your debt details. I want to refinance in year 4 and sell in year 8. And right there, you can create your whole structure. And then at that point, you're pretty much done. You can put all your closing costs and everything here. And then investment returns, this is where we structure the deal. You could say, I want to give my investors an 8 pref, 70-30 split. Right? You could say, I want to give my investors an 8 pref, 70-30 split. And if I refi them out, they go to a 50-50 split. Here's your GP returns. We have a sample investment section. You could enter, hey, what if one of my investors wants to put $150,000 into this deal? What does that look like? We have a more complex waterfall structure if you want to use that instead. We have an error check page. This page will show you, did I complete the spreadsheet properly? Critical is anything that you have to do. Non-critical are important items, but not needed. So we're basically telling you, did you fill out the spreadsheet properly and is everything complete? That's always big, especially if you're just getting started. And then finally, we've kind of got a summary page. Decision page just helps you make a decision based on certain metrics. Am I making an X amount as a GP? What's my average cash on cash or IRR? Does it hit the threshold? And then finally, we have kind of a summary page with some different tables you can pull into a pitch deck if you need to. So again, it takes a couple hours to underwrite a deal normally, but with the software, we're underwriting deals sometimes in 20 to 30 minutes. Depending on the rent comps normally take the longest to go and pull. But we're underwriting deals really quickly, at least on a first pass, because the software is helping us with really the longest part, which is going through those financials. So
excellent. Cedric asked a question. He said, does the software pull the asset information from public sources?
Yes, it does. Yeah, we pull from public records. The public records I showed you guys here, we're getting those from wherever the county's information is held. That's where we're getting on the property.
Cool. Gregory said or asked, what is the probability of error if tested regarding the program accurately identifying the data presented on PDF, etc.? And hold on a minute, I gotta get this out my way. Why is that not okay? And what blind size areas of higher likelihood of errors should users be aware of?
Yeah, good question. I mean, if it's a PDF and it's downloaded from a property management software, so which is how you're going to get most deals that are managed, with Appfolio, Yardi, Resman, Entrada, one of the management softwares. If they download a rent roll or a T12 from there, it's going to upload and it's going to accurately present all the data. Where you sometimes will run into some funky scenarios if it's like a handmade one, or it's a really strange format, or if it's like a photo of one, it's not always going to read. We use AI to read PDFs and then put it into the software. If we can't read it, so I'd say there's low likelihood of error if we read it. If we can't read it, we give you guys a message on the software that says, hey, we can't read this template. Our team will actually manually go in, put it into a parsable format, meaning a format that you can upload, and then we'll turn it back around to you in a day or two, 24 to 48 hours. So we actually have a team that will manually correct format. So if you get an image or a really strange format, our team will actually manually go and put it in and then email you back a template in a day or two that can be accurately parsed. So other than that, I'd say there's low likelihood of missing data or errors in a rent roll or units missing or stuff like that. We haven't really seen that much.
Great. A question was asked. It was asked of me. Yes, I have been using this software. But I also I don't know if he could show you my account, but I have my own model there. So when I upload my rent roll T12, it goes into my model. I can still use their model, but it goes into my model and stuff like that because like I said, I wanted to have my own model, and that's why I got with David and Brandon on this, because I wanted to have my own model to work with. My model has a few differences, a few additions. I'm going to say a few additions of things on it, but it's I'm able to still do it. And the beautiful thing I like about this his platform, you can upload any model to the platform and they can integrate it to where you could just upload your rent roll in T12.
Correct.
That's what I like about it.
Correct. Yeah, you can add a new template at any time. If you're a business client, then we'll link any number of spreadsheets for you. If you're on our professional account, we'll link one spreadsheet for you.
Right.
And then you can utilize your own model within the platform. We've had people upload Michael Blanc's, or I think there's one that's called Synthesis. We've done it several times. And then we'll actually, for our business clients, we have two levels of the subscription: professional, which is for an individual, and then business, which is for teams.
I'm
For our business clients, we will actually do custom models for you as well. So we'll take sometimes our flagship model we'll take and we'll make heavy modifications to it for your needs. Like recently we had a team that out of New York and or sorry, out of Orlando actually, and they needed a whole nother page in there to structure for the type of joint ventures that they do. So we actually created a whole entire new model or a whole entire new page for their return on investment analysis, so that they can they can match their structure that they do with their investors. So we will do
right.
custom formats.
And can you go back to the tax tab on the model?
Yes.
Okay. So the reason why I asked you to go back to the tax tab, because Stephanie wanted to know, does this work in other states besides Texas? Stephanie, this model, it's not made specific for any one state. You can use this across the United States. Okay, that's why. And like for the taxes, he got in Texas, they use a rate. They don't use a millage rate.
Right.
They use a rate. So, but like where you are, you use, I do believe you use a millage rate. So you would be able to put in your millage rate, your calculations in order to get your your tax
Right. Like in
assess.
Michigan, they use a millage rate in Michigan. So the taxable value is normally 40 to 50%. And then they don't have a percent rate, they use a millage rate. The millage rate might be like 55. So now I switched it to millage rate. I have my taxable assessed value percent, and now I have my millage rate. So you kind of need to know the structure in your market, but no matter what structure you have, this will accommodate it as long as you know what that structure is. So I invest in Michigan and Texas. I know how they do it there. Florida, they do percent rate. North Carolina, they actually do it every 4 years in North Carolina, but they also do a percent rate there. So it just kind of depends on the market you're in. We do have a guide on our website. Let me see if this is proper. There we go. We have a guide if you go to realestate.com/tax guide. And it's not perfect, but in 2023, we actually did an assessment of every single state in the country. And you can click on it, go down to it, and we evaluated 3 to 5 counties in every country and asked them how they assess their taxes. And then we went in here and kind of put, their calculation and how they do it, tax rate method versus millage rates, how often do they assess. So we actually have a guide on every single state in the country on our website as well as a free resource. So
Fantastic.
yeah.
Fantastic. David,
Yes.
for the subscription and everything, everybody's asking, how much is this going to cost?
Yeah, good question. So I believe, Daryl, we're working with you on some sort of an affiliate
Correct.
discount code here. But typically our professional subscription for a single user is $99 a month. And then if you want access to multiple users, your team, you want custom spreadsheets, you want your spreadsheets linked to our parsing, and then you want to get our public records and upcoming rent comps. That's going to be our business subscription. And depending on the size of your team, that ranges anywhere from $300 to $500 a month. If you pay it on an annual basis, you save 15%. So instead of 100 a month for 12 months, it's just 1,000 if you paid up front. You're going to get an additional 10% off by working with Daryl, by the way, here. So it'd be, 90 bucks a month for professional and $270 a month for business, and going up depending on the size of your team.
So Stephanie, in reference to the tax, yeah, you know, manually means if you just know, if you just want to input the amount, okay, of the taxes that you want to just do. You don't want to go through the millage thing. You don't want to go through the rate thing. You know the amount. You just want to input the amount. That's what that means when you say manually. When you manually want to do it. But if you know, if you get with your tax assessor, he will tell you what the rate is, and then you could just put in the rate and everything, and it will calculate it for you. Now, when you hit the tab, Stephanie, when you hit the tab and you start out here, once you put your purchase price in, okay, then it's going to calculate. It's going to fill in on the tab that says, hold on a minute, the tab that says, I think it's pro forma. Then it will calculate straight across. Okay. So I do that. Yeah,
Okay.
right there.
So the other
See
thing
there?
I wanted to know too, Daryl, because I thought I heard that when you're pulling the public records and you're putting the information in with the square footage and all of that, and it's pulling the public records, did I understand, is it pulling comps as well?
No, so the public records is just gonna have these categories. So it's gonna have your owner information, last transfer, last market sale, tax information, property characteristics, site info. But it's not gonna automatically pull in the tax structure here.
So
That's-
it would know that we're in Ohio, and when it'll pull the records from the Ohio public records to fill that information in here.
Correct. These public records will show data basically that you'd find right on the assessor's website for your address. Exactly.
Okay.
Yep. So if I go, let me see another property we've got here. This one might. Let's see.
But it doesn't do comps in that area.
No.
Rental comps, that is a feature that's coming in about 2 weeks. There's gonna be another tab up here that says
Okay.
rent comps. And the rent comps will then be available.
Okay.
Based on your unit mix, actually, we're gonna let you select the 5 to 6 closest comps to unit area from a list of properties. And then it's gonna show you all the units that have recently rented and their rental rates compared to yours. It's pretty cool.
And as you're
updating,
as you're updating this, I keep hearing you saying this is coming in the future. How does that impact the cost as you're updating the program if you've already purchased the program?
Yeah, so we operate on 12-month contracts. So you would sign up for 12 months, your pricing is locked in for 12 months. And then we would renew with either no change in price or nominal change in price after renewal.
But do you still have the old program? So if
you would
get-
have you'd have all the updates along the way. Yep, the
Okay.
updates get pushed to everyone and everybody gets the updates. Exactly.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah, so once the rent comp feature comes out, anyone who currently has access, it'll pop up for them as well. Yep. And then Brandon, if you guys are interested, so Daryl clicked a link there, so you guys can either go to our site, and you can click sign up to get a trial, or Brandon, if you don't mind dropping your email in the chat, you guys could email Brandon, and he'll get on a demo and walk through it with you guys and see if it's a good fit for you guys, and depending on if you have any custom needs, we can kind of give you guys kind of a quote on what that looks like.
Yeah, I would
So-
love to do any additional demoing that needs to be done. Daryl, can I? It
Yep.
says that I only have the option to send it to a direct message.
Hold on one second. All right, you should be good to go now.
All right, let's see here. Let me close this thing out.
Yeah, I would highly suggest, guys, if even if you're just curious, email Brandon and just hop on a call with him, and it'll show you through the software. I'll tell you, and I know I'm extremely biased because I created the software, but having a platform to stay organized is the most important thing, whether it's ours or another one. Having a software that allows you guys to keep all of your acquisitions organized and underwrite quickly, it's huge because it makes the process easier. When you're working in Google Drive and you've got to go and copy and paste your model and then clear out all the assumptions and create a new folder and manage where all your stuff is for a new deal, like it makes the process tedious, it makes it really annoying, and it doesn't make underwriting enjoyable at all. Now, underwriting is not the most enjoyable thing in the world. I know most people don't like it, but this makes it a little easier and it makes everything a lot faster. So I would say if you don't like underwriting, you need this almost more than somebody who does like underwriting, because it's going to make your life significantly more enjoyable. So you can spend more time doing stuff that you actually do like doing in the business.
Now, for those of you that are in my coaching program, okay, reach out to me, okay? Reach out to me. Do not reach out to Brandon. Don't reach out to David because you're in my coaching program, all right? Reach out to me, okay? All right. Are there any other
Yeah, and
questions?
Daryl will apply your affiliate code to anyone from here who does reach out to us. But they can reach out to you and you can refer them to us as well.
Cool.
Whatever works.
Cool. Alicia asked a question. When booking, be sure. Oh, commercial. Yeah, please. Thank you. So,
I
we
did have a question though,
sure go ahead.
and I may have missed it, but David, if you can explain the main difference between the base service and the business service. What is the main difference?
Yeah, good question. So for the professional, well, I'll explain the business, what you get with business that's different. So the business, you get public records, you get rent caps, which is what's coming out in 2 weeks. You get access to invite multiple members to your workspace. So you could have your whole team could have a login, you and your partner. And then we'll link as many spreadsheets as you guys want. And we'll work on building custom spreadsheets for you as well. So that's kind of the business. The professional will still link a single spreadsheet for you, but you don't get the public records or rent comps. You don't have multiple logins for your team. The professional is just for an individual user. Is that
All right?
Yes, thank you.
okay? Cool. You're welcome.
So, if anyone would like to know more about David Toupin and Brandon Pack, hey, Brandon, David. Oh yeah, well I was gonna say put your contact information, which you already did. And if anyone would like to know more about my coaching program, which I focus heavily on underwriting. My passion is underwriting. Okay. Now we do get into you still have to know the basics, of course, which you will get that with me, but I do focus a lot on underwriting because that is so important. If you don't know how to underwrite, or maybe you're guessing on your underwrite, that's not a good thing, right? That's not a good thing. So David and Brandon, do y'all want to leave any parting words to commercial multifamily mastermind members?
Man, I would say y'all are in great hands. Daryl, your passion is my passion. Guys, keep listening to Daryl. He's smart. I've seen him underwrite. He knows what he's doing. So, yeah, sign up for his coaching.
And listen,
yeah.
And everyone, I need some help. It just dawned on me. I need someone in Oklahoma, Oklahoma City. Someone that's probably close to like or live in Midwest Oklahoma. There's a deal that I'm working on, and I really could use your help. So Oklahoma City or Midwest Oklahoma, it's a property that I'm underwriting, and I really could use your help. So if you're there, if you know someone that's in that area, please have them reach out to me because I'm underwriting a property that's there, and I could use your help. All right. So, oh wait a minute, Alicia said. Thank you very much, Alicia. Thank you very much. All right, everyone. Well, listen, everyone, I want to thank you all for coming. Now, remember, we'll be back not next Tuesday, the following Tuesday, and we'll have another guest speaker. Again, we're focusing on underwriting. For this year, we're going to be hitting it hard on underwriting. Okay. So hang in there with us, and learn about this underwriting thing, because you really do need it. David, Brandon, I want to thank you all very much for coming, for sharing, talking to us about underwriting. And actually, Dave, I'm gonna have you come back again, because there was still some things that we didn't talk about concerning underwriting, especially when it comes to the market, when it comes to what to look for in the market and stuff like that. But so I'm gonna have you come back, because I think we need to also discuss what we need to be looking for in the market when it comes to underwriting, and some of the do's and the don'ts and stuff like that. All right, if that's okay with you,
Sounds good.
I would like to have you come
We'll
back.
make it happen,
All right?
Captain.
All right. And I'm also going to have you talk to the founder of the GOB Network, Jim Biggs. We have a very, very, very large platform. Alicia, how many? We have well over, I think, 1,500 members or something like that, or 2,000 members. I think.
Yeah.
Muted.
Sorry. Yes. Over 1,700.
Yeah, we have over 1,700 members in the GOB. So I'm going to have you, since I'm using this now and using the platform, I'm gonna introduce it to him and walk him through, and let's see if we can work something out. But I'm gonna have you back here so we could really delve into underwriting. Okay. Okay. Cool.
Sounds great, man. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it. Nice to meet you
Hey.
all.
Thank you, David. Thank you, Brandon, and thank you everyone for coming. Now, if y'all would like to stick around for a few minutes. So I want to thank you all for coming. But your feedback, I would like your feedback from you on how you like the new process of having a guest speaker to help with underwriting and so forth. So your feedback will be important, and just shoot us an email at Daryl. I guess I should. Well, I'll make sure it's in the recording. Daryl at Murphy, Murphy, Baynard, Baynard group.com. All right. Daryl at murphybaynardgroup.com. So I would like some feedback at how y'all like the new platform, the way it's going to go. All right. All right. Thank you all very much for coming. See you.
Thank you, Bill and
See you
Alicia,
in
for all you
2
do.
weeks. Matter of fact, see you on February 6th. February 6th.
Okay.
All right.
All
See you
right,
later,
Daryl,
y'all.
thanks.
Okay,
Bye.
cool.